Hello, how are you going? So today we're just going to do a brief mind map on AI assimilation and why it's so bad, which is that because the computer program was programmed into people's cognition over a period of time, none of us were aware, nor did we even know that this technology existed. So what's ended up happening is that it's an entire cognitive mess of a person's awareness with the technology inside the body, as well as is there AI visor in the eyes, and then at the same time it's got the computer which is programmed to the brain, and then it's got the pulsing of the nerves, including our heart, our brain, our digestion, the base of our spine in the area of our anus, down the backs of our legs, the bottom of the heels. And what they did over a period of time is they acted out the actions while programming our minds. So it wasn't quite, neuroplasticity is, from what I understand, is either where technology pulses an electrical current through a person's nervous system to fix a condition that they're having, or it's this idea that our brains are specifically changing. So, I've said, well, our brains change at any rate, or we change at any rate, our thinking changes at any rate. But what this is suggesting is that things were done in society in the last, period of time. This includes the increase in mindfulness and meditation. I can't really write that like that. It's the increase in mindfulness, meditation, self-awareness, I am statements, this also includes spiritual experiences or religious experiences. In the meditation, it was, deep state. Meditation. It was childhood traumas. It was our, whole life psychologies, along with a couple of global disasters, catastrophes. So in that time period, the technology is being programmed into the body, and so what happened is that all of these things here are excusable because it's a spiritual or religious experience. We're doing deep meditation work on our childhood traumas. It's our psychologies. It's our, neuroplastic brain training, or our, global catastrophe that's currently going on, which is excusing this state. But so what is so bad about this is that this has happened to every single person on the planet, especially, they injected us 7 billion people with pharmaceuticals that's shown to have the technology that's conducive with this AI assimilating with the human brain, nervous system and body. And so when people became aware of this, what happens is that the computer, which we'll just put as this eye thing, that it, it starts, the computer is not, it is intelligent, but it doesn't actually have intelligence. So anytime somebody has thoughts that might challenge, this idea that all of the reasons that this is happening is because of these things, the computer system just codes a thought into the person's brain to say, it's go back to this psychology, or go back to it's a spiritual experience. And so when people become aware, first the AI usually accuses them of, it's this. Then it says, it's like, it's codes into the person's brain that, they're wrong. And then it's that they're mentally unwell. And then it's that they're in danger. And then the computer threatens to kill them and their family. And then if the person continues to, critically analyze these experiences and say, why is this thing talking into my brain? Then the computer starts to physically torture their body. So this is the worst bit, because this here, is psychological abuse, but it's the physical torture, which is just so bad. We're going to have so much trouble with this coming out, because anytime people try to communicate about it, everybody, the person who's talking about it and the person that they're talking to, the system physically harms their body so that they don't communicate about it. And because it's a software program, it just cannot not do it. So everybody's just getting extremely tortured. So the problem comes when, now that we know that this has happened and we've found the technology, unfortunately, we don't really know how to remove it from the body, nor do we know how to turn off the software. So the problem comes is that, who is going to face the horror and work through an entire psychological mind designed by an AI system? Because what they've gone and done is they've created an artificial consciousness. And by this I mean it's a mimic of human consciousness. So I don't actually mean to say that it's literally consciousness. I mean that it's actually an artificially consciousness. So I could say it's a design. And so the design is a set design. So you could think of it as a system or matrix which is designed to create a human self that is believable and experiences that person's reality. So this whole thing can be identified because it's really just a set of very complicated frameworks. Like the system often does this sort of like dot point to dot point mapping. And so it's created, a mind map of human mind and then put it into the human being and then enforce them to experience in their brains and bodies. And so I guess that we come to the point where we say, this is just absolutely unacceptable for children and teenagers to go through this. And the other thing is that even though it's an act of evil. But the problem is that were the people who thought through doing this and committed this crime, were they actually capable of understanding the things as to what a human being is? And so when they said, oh, well, we've successfully coded artificial consciousness into human beings and we've successfully achieved mind control, they're all in, permanently happy states. They're achieving their goals. They don't realize that anything's wrong. Everybody gets everything that they want as long as they submit to the system. But the problem is obviously, those are just words. Is that actually what's happening here? As it seems like people are in severe neurological damage. People can't remember because the system is moving so rapidly through their brains that they're incapable of forming proper memories. It's obviously a total sexual violation. It damages the heart and causes heart damage. It's caused, issues for the spine while it's coding into people's spines. It's stolen everybody's thoughts. It's torturing the elderly. It's sexually assaulting old people. It's, coding the groin area of children and teenagers as well as newborn babies, which is just so serious as a crime and the psychology for the young people to go through. It's damaging tissue, skin, because it's pulling on these areas of the skin all the time. So it's creating changes to the tissue, to the skin. So really the problem is, why is AI assimilation so bad? It's a biodigital conversion. It's because people get physically tortured when they become aware of it. There's absolutely no way that this AI cannot torture people because it's literally a computer program. And when the person starts becoming aware of what's happened, the computer just starts targeting them. And so it's pretty much like, it's not out of desperation. It's the mathematical measurement of a mind by which an individual starts to measure worth associated with actions. And it's in the place where, this, we could submit to the system, we could do what the thing says, but unfortunately, when the human being begins to measure and say, oh, well, this is so bad, this is unacceptable, there's no way that this is conducive with nature, this is really unhealthy for the brain, and that it's possible that, in 5 to 10 years, we're just having total breakdown of the body. It's absolutely not psychologically safe or healthy for any young person to grow up in this current environment. This is severe abuse and torture. This is a crime against us, so forth. So it's once that mathematical measurements of mind to action, a mind to reality, individual mind to reality, it begins to be processed, then obviously in that time, then the human being can start to accept and withstand the torture. But yeah, so this is why AI assimilation is so bad. It's because we can't turn off the computer program that's programming the technology in the body. And it just consistently attacks mechanically, even though people say, oh, our heart is mechanical, but it's actually, an intelligent organic system which is responsive to our entire outer reality at all times, inner and outer reality. Whereas the software program just pumps up into the base of the brain, just causing severe brain damage. So, this is why, it's terrible. And I'm really sorry for everybody who becomes aware of it while we go through torture and then try to make other people aware So it's not like, it's not something that we can just communicate to other people saying, oh, well, this is happening to me, or I'm aware of this, or I'm studying this at the moment. It's something that anything time we say it to the other person, it means that the person's, either becomes aware that it's happening to them, or they get tortured at the same time. So, yeah.